100,000 years ago, Homo sapiens lived squarely in the middle of the food chain. We were minor biological players, foraging for plants and hiding in the brush from predators. At the time, we were just one of at least 6 different human species struggling to survive. Our ancestors possessed no obvious physical advantages. If you examine the skeletal remains from this era, you find a frame designed for climbing and basic foraging, nothing that suggests future dominance. Compared to the powerful Neanderthals of Europe, sapiens were smaller and physically more fragile. This evolutionary timeline shows the sudden vacuum that followed. For millennia, multiple human species existed simultaneously. Then, 5 of these distinct branches abruptly stopped. They vanished from the fossil record, leaving Homo sapiens as the last humans on Earth. Today, the descendants of those foragers are decoding genomes and launching rovers to other planets. By manipulating atoms and digital bits, our influence now extends to every corner of the globe and beyond. This creates a massive historical question. How did an ordinary animal, without growing sharper claws or larger muscles, jump from the middle of the food chain to the very top? Around 70,000 years ago, a mutation rewired the internal architecture of the sapiens' brain. This change, often called the tree of knowledge mutation, gave us a unique form of language that went beyond mere survival signals. While other animals can signal that a lion is near, sapiens developed the ability to discuss things that have no physical presence. We gained the capacity to gossip about social reputations and eventually to invent collective stories. These early cave paintings represent the beginning of shared myths. By visualizing spirits and legends, sapiens began to organize their lives around abstract concepts rather than just immediate physical needs. Biologically, a primate brain can only manage social bonds in groups of about 150 individuals. This graph shows what happens when a shared fiction, like a tribal god, is introduced. Because thousands of strangers can all believe in the same story, they can cooperate as if they were family. This coordination was the decisive factor. A single Neanderthal was likely stronger than a single sapiens, but 50 Neanderthals could never defeat 500 sapiens attacking in a synchronized wave. Our myths allowed us to amass the numbers needed to systematically push every other human species into extinction. 12,000 years ago, sapiens began clearing forests to plant rows of seeds. This shift to agriculture is often viewed as a step toward a better life, but for the average human, it functioned more like a trap. Wheat tethered humans to specific plots of ground. Instead of the varied movement of a hunter-gatherer, people spent their lives bent over, clearing rocks, hauling water in clay pots, and guarding fields from dawn until dusk to ensure this single grass species survived. The physical results were stark. Farmers traded a diverse, nutrient-rich diet for one based almost entirely on grain. This chart tracks the resulting decline in health. Bone density dropped, and for the first time, the human fossil record shows widespread slipped discs, arthritis, and tooth decay. This is the luxuries trap. While farming allowed the total population to grow, the life of the individual became more labor-intensive and physically strained than that of their ancestors. 5,000 years ago, these agricultural societies scaled up into empires. As seen in this map of the British territories, empires functioned by blending thousands of different local cultures under a single imagined administrative rule and a common language. To manage trade across these vast distances, humans perfected the fiction of money. A paper banknote has no inherent value. You cannot eat it or wear it. It only works because millions of strangers collectively trust the same story about what that paper represents. The next shift occurred when humans admitted they didn't have all the answers. Using tools like this antique telescope, the scientific revolution replaced dogma with mathematical observation and a willingness to explore the unknown. When this scientific curiosity was paired with capitalist credit, the belief that the future will be wealthier than the present, our power grew exponentially. It allowed our species to break earthly boundaries and send rovers to Mars. By combining the trust built by money with the precision of science, a former ape became the primary force shaping the planet. We are now moving beyond the rules of natural selection. By editing the DNA code shown in this model, we are beginning to design the future of our own biology according to our own intentions. At the same time, we are merging with machines. This silicon wafer represents the transition to inorganic life, where human consciousness is being linked to autonomous digital systems. We are taking on the role of creators. But while our power is increasing, we have yet to decide what kind of future we are actually trying to build. Our brains evolved for physical movement and tight-knit tribal bonds. This chart reveals a dangerous mismatch. While our technological power accelerates, our mental well-being is dropping. Today, those same brains struggle to cope with the sedentary isolation of a digital world they were never designed for. We are still serving the stories we invented tens of thousands of years ago. We often sacrifice our actual health and the health of the planet to preserve abstract concepts like corporate growth, national status, and digital reputation. The challenge of the modern age is simple. We must stop serving our own myths and start choosing the relief of physical pain. Our survival depends on using our current power to reduce real suffering before our tools outgrow our ability to use them wisely.